video. This time a review of my new movie, The Dark Knight Rises. Oh. Voice. How do you do that voice? The 3 films. Well, you kind of half did it in first one, but 3 films. I'm Batman. I must say, I'm very surprised. This mask is quite comfortable. But, no, I can't keep that up. Luckily I have a hat on standby. Yep, The Dark Knight Rises. It's come out. I think to say it was highly anticipated is a bit of an understatement. Yeah, this was one of those films. I went into this. I don't really know what I expected, to be honest, because the first 2 films, well, let's talk about just Batman in general. Like, I love the comics. I've not read loads of comics, but you know, I have a good grasp of the comics. I watched the show as a kid, you know, the 90s show. Believe it or not, my favourite Batman film is actually the 1966 one with Adam West, and the reason is because it's just so funny, that film. It's absolutely batshit crazy. No pun intended. It's batshit crazy, that film. And it's the only Batman film that's come out where you don't need, there's no setting up characters at all, because it's set after the first series of the show. So all the characters, all the villains have been set up. You're not spending half a film on backstory. It's just straight in, and it's great. I just love that film so much. But yeah, the Tim Burton ones, the Batman and Batman Returns, I really like those. I thought Michael Keaton were brilliant. Jack Nicholson were really good. I can't see anyone else playing Penguin except blooming Danny DeVito. I'm glad that Christopher Nolan decided not to use Penguin for these films, because there's no way anyone else could have played him. The Joel Schumacher ones, I liked them as a kid. I'll say that. I actually, as a kid, I always preferred Batman and Robin, because it was more silly, and it was just more fun to, to just put on, like, if you're just bored or whatever. I always used to watch Batman and Robin because it was a lot more fun. And it gets a lot of stick, Batman and Robin, and I don't think it deserves it, to be honest. It is really stupid, but that is what I like about it. It's alright, that film, and he don't deserve it. And it's got Arnie in it. I mean, I just love Arnie. He's brilliant. Can't wait for new Expendables just for Arnie. So yeah, the Nolan ones, Batman Begins, fucking amazing. I love Batman Begins. It captured what Batman is about. It wasn't like, to the T, for the comics, but the whole essence of Batman about controlling criminals' fear, that is what I wanted represented properly in a Batman film, and this was the first one to do it for me. So yeah, Batman Begins, I actually prefer that over Dark Knight, because The Dark Knight is a sensational film, and Heath Ledger's brilliant, Aaron Eckhart's great as Two-Face. It's just a brilliant film. It's like constantly on edge of your seat, the tension, and it's realistic. That is the thing about those Nolan films. It puts Batman in a realistic world, and it's the first time we've seen that. And so those 2 films, the expectations for this new one, The Dark Knight Rises, were ridiculous. I mean, Christopher Nolan has not made a bad film. Well, from what I've seen, from late 90s, he has not made a bad film, Christopher Nolan. So yeah, there were pressure on him. I've got to be honest, I did not expect it to be as good as the others. And guess what? You know what, I am not gonna lie. I didn't really like this film. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people liked it, and I've been really confused, to be honest. I've been looking on the internet, I've been talking to people. Did you watch a different film to me? I don't get it. I didn't really like this film. it felt so disjointed. It felt like rushed. It felt like it needed another year editing. Real bad mistakes, real silly mistakes, terrible. The plot holes. Do you know what's silly about it? I think one of the main reasons I didn't like this film, because the last two films were so grounded in reality, that this one was ridiculous. It was silly. The stuff that happened in it was right silly, and but it takes itself as seriously as the last two films. So all the way through, I were questioning everything. I couldn't help but question everything because of how silly it were, and it shouldn't have been. And I can see if this had been re-edited, this film could have been like the other two. And the action is so good. It's absolutely amazing. It's jaw-dropping. That intro especially, the opening scene, it's not got the impacts of The Dark Knight, you know, when Joker pulls off that mask, but, you know, it's jaw-droppingly good. To start off with, you don't see Batman until like halfway through the film, and that's a big problem. It's about The Dark Knight Rising. I mean, even in, you know, like the comic Dark Knight Returns, you saw Batman pretty early on. I thought that's what they were going to do. I thought that they were going to do like a Dark Knight Returns and go back to that original theme of fear. But they didn't. They just had this weird villain with stupid motivations. I don't understand Bane. He's a terrifying villain, don't get me wrong, he's a great villain. If he were put in a different plot. But his motivations are stupid. He has this bomb. Yeah, massive spoilers in this. This is one of my few reviews I'm actually gonna have spoilers in. So, yeah. View at your own discretion, but that thing with bomb at end, which is a rip-off of Escape from... It reminded me of Escape from New York, that end bit. Which ain't a bad thing, it was great, that, I loved it. That entire scenario, that's what I mean, this film's got loads of good stuff. Like, that scenario is so fascinating. The fact that Bane has the power to reduce Gotham to what it was, just like that. I mean, that tells you so much about Bane as a villain. It's just genius, that, it's brilliant. It's just his motivation, the fact that it was... Because he's carrying on what do you call him, started. You know what Ra's al Ghul started, pretty much. But, like, it's silly. Why is he doing that when Gotham's, like, sorted out at end of Dark Knight? He's trying to... Why is he reducing it to scum again? Didn't need a catalyst to do that. You know, the thing is, The Dark Knight goes out of its way proving that Gotham is better. Because the whole point in Dark Knight, the Joker's trying to bring it back to what it were. But, like, in end, you got them two boats, haven't you? They don't kill each other, so that proves that Gotham don't care. They want to be better. They want to make themselves better. But, like, this film, it's like, well, in 1 second I can take it back to what it were. Just release a few prisoners and it's back to exactly what it were. And I do not believe that. I don't think people would be that stupid. There's too many good people in Gotham now. Those prisoners and all. I mean, you saw how they acted on that boat. They were Harvey Dent's prisoners, by the way. These same prisoners that were released in The Dark Knight Rises were Harvey Dent's prisoners. You tell me they've changed that much that they'll just destroy the city? Nope, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That in final act, that bloody love story between... There's no love story, that's my point. Like, between Catwoman and, you know, Bruce Wayne, right? She could have been anyone for a start. She didn't even need to be Catwoman. She were alright though, her performance was fine. Like, as a character in itself, she did what she could with it, and... Because there were no there between them at all. This not get end. It comes out of nowhere. It's like, do you really... We've just seen Bruce shag someone earlier in film. So why... I don't know, it comes out of nowhere. It's like, to me, they respect each other. They don't want to fuck each other, if you know what I mean. Just comes out of nowhere. I don't like doing this. I don't like doing this, but it's true. It is actually true. need another year. This film need another year, post-production, re-editing. I want to see a director's cut. When they put this on DVD, it needs a fucking director's cut, because as it stands, it's good. It needs a fucking new ending and all, because like, they fucking copped out in ending. Should have killed off Batman. That is the only thing. Those kind of people, like Batman and Catwoman, do you know why she goes back? Because, not because she's a decent person, she loves that, she thrives on that conflict. The same way, the same reason Bruce goes back, because he thrives on that conflict, he needs that fight in him. So in the end, where they're in Florence, right, and he's there, Bruce Wayne's like, he's like thumbs up to Alfred, that's going to last 2 minutes. At some point, he's going to need to fight. He's trained himself all his life to fight criminals. He's going to need to do it. She's going to need to steal stuff. It's just what happens. People like that don't change. I don't buy the ending. They should have fucking killed him off. And it would have been an amazing, brilliant, tragic story of a hero. And that's the point. The first film teaches you Batman isn't a man, it's a symbol. That guy, that copper all the way through the film, he was training to be Batman. It was so obvious. He's not fucking Robin. That was shoehorned in. That line, by the way, my name's Robin. Fuck off. You were going to make new Batman. But no. It's like, we can't kill him off because the kids won't like it, I guess. No. They should have killed him off and he should have been... He's find fucking Batcave. Why would he find the Batcave and be like, you know what? I'm going to call myself Robin. Let's create a new image that criminals don't fear, that they have to learn that shit from scratch. I don't know. Didn't work. Nightwing, I mean, what's point in introducing Nightwing without Batman? That's the only other way they could have gone with it, but... He was a great character though, that guy. He was in Inception as well. He looks straight like Heath Ledger. I remember the early rumours said that he was going to play the Joker in this film. And to be honest, that wound me up and all. No mention of Joker. It's all like Harvey Dent this, Harvey Dent that. What happened to Joker 8 years... I know Heath Ledger's dead, but fucking come on. 8 years later, you think they'd say something about the Joker. Like there'd be a... Just all they needed was something like, this driving down streets, past a theatre or something. There's a poster, like, says somebody made a film about the Joker, Something like that, just to show that the Joker is still there in a way. And that was the thing, when The Dark Knight ended, I didn't feel as though the Joker was finished. When he died, it was in post-production, the film, so I think they planned the Joker to be in The Dark Knight Rises, and they had to rewrite the film essentially. But alright, what's good about it? What's good about this film? Bane is a brilliant villain. He is absolutely terrifying. His motivations are questionable, but as a villain, he is fucking scary. Every time he goes near someone, you feel like he's gonna kill them. You feel like they're gonna suffer. And see, the Joker was, you smiled when he were on screen because he were entertaining. He were terrifying, but he were entertaining. But this guy, there is no way you would, if you saw him on the street, you'd fucking run in the opposite direction. Because, you'd be faster. Because he's a fucking huge bloke. There's no way he'd run as fast as you. But, yeah, he's brilliant. He's the only, the voice. I have a problem with the voice. I couldn't understand him half the time. I don't know if it were my, cinema, or I saw it in IMAX, by the way, so it might be the IMAX speakers, I don't know, but I had trouble understanding him a lot of the time. Well, not a lot of the time, it were usually, especially, there's a scene, in the stadium, the American football stadium, I couldn't understand half his dialogue, because he's speaking through a microphone, as if it's not already difficult enough to understand him. He speaks through a bloody microphone, doesn't he? And I couldn't understand him, those scenes. Also, added this effect, so it sounded like he was everywhere, like, you're in this room, imagine there's speakers everywhere. Normally, when you're in cinemas, someone's talking, they stick the dialogue in centre speaker, so, centre, right? This guy, they stick his voice everywhere, so it sounds dubbed. It sounds like a Godfrey Ho film. I'm not joking. It sounds really muffled, poor quality. It is like a fucking Godfrey Ho film. And because you can't see his mouth, it's like his face doesn't change at all. He does act well, like physically he acts well, especially in action sequences, but I never felt as though he were actually talking, if you know what I mean. That were a problem. It were very distracting. That's not Tom Hardy's fault at all. That is whoever the fuck designed that costume, whoever the hell decided to put that goofy effect on his voice. It's their fault. Tom Hardy did a great job, and yeah, it's great. But yeah, the action sequences are really good. I really like how Nolan still uses CGI well. He's one of the few directors that uses it right these days, especially for a big budget film. I mean, like, it all works. Like, he uses it when he needs to. Like, that first sequence, any other film, that would have all been CGI, with planes and all that. It's all real in this film, and it looks fantastic, and you can tell the difference. And I like how, because he filmed part of this film in IMAX, even though the IMAX sequences don't look right, the resolution's really high. And a lot of directors wouldn't increase the resolution of their models and stuff, you know, for CGI. But it is in this, and it looks right, and thank you for fucking realising that. I just saw Spider-Man like other week. Every time the lizard was on the screen, I got that feeling. I'm like, fuck off, show me some film. You know, I'm not paying to watch a cartoon. I'm paying to watch a live action film. Don't, you know, things like that. I mean, there were bits in this film like that are obviously CGI, like the bit with all the explosions all over the city. Right? There's no way they could actually film that. So, you know, they're obviously CGI explosions, but you got this beautiful cityscape, a real shot of the beautiful cityscape. So you see it, the illusion works, and that is how you use CGI. So props to Christopher Nolan for actually, you know, raising the bar and showing filmmakers this is how you do this shit. And I hope more filmmakers copy it. Stop copying fucking Michael Bay and his cheap crap, alright? Make some proper effects like this film, because these are really good effects. What else? Some acting was great. Alfred, he weren't in it enough at all, especially the last act. You know, the Escape from New York act. He weren't in that at all. At all, he wasn't in that. You have this really emotional scene before where he's talking to Bruce Wayne and they break up in a sense. You don't see him again. It's like Gotham undergoes this ridiculous change. You see what everyone else is doing, even fucking Scarecrow. You see what he's doing, but you don't see what Alfred's doing. I don't get that. He's one of the most important characters. Everything Bruce does in that film is to protect Alfred. That is why he quit being Batman. That's why he got this alter ego to start off with, because he wanted to protect Alfred. But we don't see him in the last half of the film. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, do I recommend this film? Don't want to go on about it too much. You can find all this information everywhere else. There's a lot of videos about it. It's getting a lot of debate, this film, which I'm happy about. It's a really strange one, this. And yeah, so what did you think of Dark Knight Rises? Tell me how wrong I am. Pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, it was alright. It's worth seeing, especially if you've seen the other two films. I think if you haven't seen the other two, definitely watch them. Don't just go straight into this. You'll get bad. He doesn't project the other two right at all. It's very silly stuff that happens in it. Like that week, first start off with, why is he crippled? Did I miss something in the last two films? Why is he crippled? It's polo, that's what it is. He's been playing polo for 8 years and he's crippled, that's what it is. But what he does, right, all the cartilage in his knee goes apparently. So that's why he's got this walking stick and he grows a beard and he wears a dressing gown all day, right? And so what he does, he puts on this weird like Stone Cold style knee brace, And he's alright for the rest of the film. It's like, why didn't you do that before? You could have just solved crime and stuff. And that's the other thing, right? He's a detective. Batman isn't just a superhero. He's a detective. Are you telling me 8 years you got crimes going on, murders going on? Are you telling me Batman didn't just be a detective for 8 years? That would occupy him. He could just become a private detective. But no. He just sat in his house and that shit himself for 8 years apparently. I don't know. There were a lot of stuff that didn't gel with this film. That's why I'm only giving it 3 fingers out of 5. Because the stuff that works phenomenally. Like, you know, Bane as a villain, Alfred's scenes, Gordon's scenes are really good. You know, the Heath Ledger lookalike, his scenes are really good. You know, the stuff does work, and the action's amazing, but there's a lot that just irritated me, that niggled my brain, and I just cannot look past it. I've tried, and I have delayed this video for about a week now, because it's been in the back of my mind, and I've been thinking, I haven't known what to think of this film, and I need to get it off my chest, so that's why I made this video. Yeah, let me know what you think. Everyone who I went with really enjoyed this film, so, you know, tell me why. Tell me if you didn't like it, or if you liked it, let me know why. It's one of those films, it's going to divide people, and that's what's great about this medium. It's brilliant. But yeah, this is SlimmBob. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.